the stock market, meaning companies, new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. This is the no bullshit approach to all financial markets. But today, the day after Election Mania, we are going to, of course, be focusing on the only thing on everybody's mind, the U.S. presidential election. Joining me are my fellow degens, Brett Ritchie and Matt Glantz. You know them both already. They need no introduction. The whole thing put together by Tony the producer. Ladies and gentlemen, for a second day, way too quick to the last one, this is Market Mania! Election Hangover Edition. Tony, hell of a show today. Matt Glantz, tell me what happened after I passed out with a bottle of Dom.
that bottle of Dom you had there with you and Helmuth, man. You really took it hard. You crashed at what? You probably crashed like
Fucking
midnight, 1 o'clock when the show went on for 6 hours. So we did well after you. But today the market is up enormous amounts. Though I don't remember the last time I've seen the S&P up 3%. Nasdaq's up almost 5%. Funds crushing today. Obviously, we usually do good on big up days like this. It's great for the Robin Hooders like Brett. It's all election fears have all but subsided. It looks like Biden's going to be the winner. So that's what the market's roaring on. But, it's not. I don't think the market's picking a winner. I think the market's just happy we have a winner. What are your thoughts, Brett?
Well, I will say I think the Robin Hooders, as happy as they are with their portfolio, my guess is that they probably lean more to Trump in the betting markets. So they may not be doing as well over there. As you say, we seem to have a winner. It's not official yet. Tony, if we can let's just roll into topic one, the current election odds. Trump is still hanging in there around a 20% chance to win the election. I think a lot of that is going to hinge on contesting this. He's already challenging in Wisconsin. He's within a 1% margin of defeat, so he can challenge there. As we covered on the show last night, there's really just a few key states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Georgia, that are deciding this election, and Biden appears to have sealed the deal, but the market doesn't agree. If you look at Twitter, you'd actually probably be surprised to see that Trump still has 20% chance. Matt,
Okay,
what do you make of this market?
If you had to pick a side, you had to either lay 4-1 or take 4-1 on Biden or Trump, whatever side you want. What would you take right now?
If
5K
I had
free bet.
I would take.
5K free
I would
bet.
lay
You gotta
Biden
put it
here
on.
if I had to. I think that Trump's path to victory is through a contested election. For the most part, I haven't necessarily looked at every possibility, but I think it's through a contested election. I think people are going to have a lot of fatigue. I don't think he's going to have the support to really take this thing all the way to the courts. I think people are just going to say, look, it's a Republican Senate. Biden's the president. Let's just run it. So if I had to pick, I would take Biden, but
You would lay the 4-1 and take
yeah,
Biden.
if I had
would too. I
gun
think
to my
most people
head,
would.
yeah.
Can you just tell me real quick what happened? Because I drove my daughter to school, and that was hurting too. And then Biden is like 1.75 or so, or Biden's like a flip. And then I come back and sleep a little bit more, and he's like minus 500 all of a sudden.
Okay, let
counting
me
the mail-in
explain to you what happened with the election, and let me explain this to everyone. So everyone, it's very clear what happened, but people don't want to admit to it or reason about it. They don't want to know the truth. The truth is Trump was never ahead in the election. Okay, all the votes came in by election day, right? Every vote that's been counted so far came in by election day. Okay, if there was a random system of how we count the votes, Biden would have been up the entire way from start to finish, right? Where he is right now. But because of the systems we have in place, mail-in ballots, certain ballots get counted late. The in-person voting gets counted first, and that just happens to favor Republicans, happens to favor Trump. That no one did that intentionally, but that's just the way that the system's done. So that favors the Republican candidate in this case, and that's why Trump was winning in the markets. People just overreacted to the initial votes, And it was scary even for someone like me that had Biden at in the middle of the night when we just had like a couple 100,000 votes left.
You couldn't breathe.
By the way, Trump just dropped 40 cents here on Pinnacle. He's down to plus 320. So people see a path for him somehow.
But do you guys understand? You guys understand that Trump was never ahead in the election. Trump was never leading in the election and then lost the lead. Okay, all the votes were in. If all the votes were counted at once and imagine in a second, the results will be the same as they are right now.
So
get that, right?
So I think that leads us into a topic that I think needs to be addressed, and that's just the Donnie Cryptos of the world, Brian Paris's of the world. They were right. Like, they're going to take an L here, similar to the poker. I know Shannon Shore keeps tweeting about like poker hand runouts. Like sometimes it's ace queen versus queen 10 that runs out ace queen 10 queen ace, and that's kind of what happened here. We're like they were right. The polls were wrong again. We can agree.
Yeah. Well, we can agree part of that. The polls were wrong, not again. 2016, the polls were not wrong. The polls 2 days before the 2016 election, Hillary had like a 2.1 or 2.3% lead, and in the popular vote, she pretty much finished like that. I mean, we can't talk about specific states in the time we have here, but from a general election standpoint, Biden's poll numbers were like some 7 or 8% going into the election, and it looks like when all the data is done, when all it comes out, he's going to be much less. So the polls were certainly wrong this time around. But I think he has a 2% lead.
But they were wrong last time too, right?
No, so we just went over that, Micon. Okay, the polls were not wrong in 2016. Okay, the polls are wrong in 2020. Okay.
All right. Well, the polls at the very least leaned to the extreme of one side of the margin of error in 2016. I'll say this: certain coastal elites in the media are going to be celebrating they sort of laid 9-1 on a flip, in my opinion, and win the flip, and then it's like they get to go celebrate, like, I was right. I don't think that the methodology they used was very robust. It's obviously these polls are flawed. If you looked even at the betting markets coming into the election, it was a pretty extreme divergence between the betting markets and the polls. And again, if I have to pick one, I'm going to side with the people betting hundreds of millions of dollars on this election.
Okay, but from a betting standpoint, if you had to choose to be on the side of saying the polls are wrong, or being on the side of the polls are wrong, are not going to be wrong enough to make up for the difference between the polls and Trump winning the election. So there's
I would be on the. I think laying 2-1 on Biden was a mistake. I think that was, in retrospect, that's not a good bet. Other than the fact that you hedged out, so it was a great bet because you had plus money. But I think like 4:00 Pacific yesterday, when the election locked, when the polls closed, I think Trump was a better bet.
My thesis was wrong.
You know why you think that? Is because the way the voting gets tabulated, because all the in-person voting gets tabulated first. But if you tabulated everything at once, everything tabulated last night at midnight at one time, one number, you wouldn't think.
But what do these margins mean then? It's still a close election. Is it Biden's over a 2-1 favorite given how close this election's been? I don't think so.
Look at it this way: the polls were completely off, terribly off. Okay, we all admit that. And Biden's still going to win.
Throw the polls out. I'm just saying, look at the results compared to the odds coming in, and what should the price have been.
And Biden's still going to win. You can't get around that.
You can throw the polls out, though. What should the price have been? And we don't know yet. We'll have to look and see how much he wins these states by.
Your people were right. The polls were wrong. And they were wrong even more than you thought they were wrong. And Biden's still going to win. Think about that.
You're totally missing my point. I'm not even arguing about the polls. I'm saying look at how much Biden wins each state by. What should his price have been going into the election? I don't think it will be as high as 2-1 if we run the math back once we get all of the states in.
Right.
Correct that.
The only way you can think that is if you think the polls should have been more wrong than they were, but nobody thinks that.
All right, ring the bell, ladies and gentlemen, because this is Market Mania, not to be confused with Election Mania. And thank you all for joining us last night for that. Move along to Wall Street Bets, because they are obviously doing what we were doing last night, just sweating the odds the whole night on every market that's affected by this crap. And that's a good meme from Wall Street Bets. What do you think? glance? Is that how many points out of 10 do you give that meme? The man is just trading
4.5.
low energy. All right, Brett.
Yeah, I'm kind of the belief that it's mostly a charade anyway. This is just entertainment, and letting this deeply affect you, whether your candidate wins or loses, I think is generally just not a healthy thing, and it's not worth your time. So for me, it's like whoever wins, keep it moving. I think also I like the checks and balances sort of in place. If you have a Biden presidency with a Republican Senate, I think having all three of the same is bad, whether it's red or blue. So I think it's fine.
Next meme. Oh yeah. The stonks. They just go up. It's divorced from becoming the civil divide. And I mean, I guess what we learned is that America is basically like a Trump voter. It's more like it's like 2% more like populated by Trump voters type people than we thought last week. I mean, it really is that thin of a margin, right? I mean, it's just that tipped the scales here. And but then the stonks go up no matter what. It just doesn't matter. Stonks just go up. It's kind of, it can't, I mean,
Well, the last
Tony's
2
going to
weeks
hate this.
down like 9% in NASDAQ at least. So it's getting half that back just today alone.
Yeah, but how does it go up in a contested election? It just doesn't, there's like people with put options that think that they were going to pay,
This is a huge relief rally, a relief of the unknown risk. And nobody
I don't get that. Because
right?
there's still
Isn't
a ton
there
of-
risks?
Trump's threatening to take it to the Supreme Court. He's challenging in Wisconsin. I think people are kind of getting ahead of themselves here, just assuming Biden wins and it's over. You look at the market, Trump's still 3-1 dog there.
Brett, my friend, let me help you. This is what you're not getting. People that actually like manage money and are running the country know it's over. Okay. People that are Trumpers like you and delusional think that there's.
I don't want it to go to the courts. So I'm fine. I'm fine to say Biden wins.
That's why there's billions of dollars pouring into the market today, because they know what's up. They realize it's over.
So Trump has no chance. So you agree with me that I don't think he'll be successful if he attempts to take it to the courts.
So it's a relief rally because we know that Biden's going to be president and there's going to be a Republican Senate.
I think people are getting a little ahead of themselves there, at least in the next month or two.
After the night I had last night, I tend to side with Brett in that, like, I don't trust anything until, the coins are on the treasure. You know what I'm saying? So to speak. Anyway, so ETH 2.0.
Have not slept in more than 24 hours. We did the show all night. The election was going on. I had to torture people on Twitter for hours, so I had no time to sleep.
Well, thanks for
I
coming
slept
in,
as
Matt.
much as I possibly could.
I know you all are really tired. We had fun last night, though, didn't we? So,
thank you, Tony, the producer.
Yeah.
ETH 2.0. I never heard of that one.
This is pretty exciting. Ethereum, the world computer, is going from a proof of work coin to a proof of stake coin. What that means is if you can prove that you have 32 Ethereum on a stake node, you can be part of the world computer that does all of the calculations for any smart contracts. It used to be like a Bitcoin model where you had to run a mining rig to generate Ethereum, but now proof of stake is going to run the world computer. So
is this still Vitalik?
Yeah.
Yep, he's still involved. So
I like that dude. I think he's a good dude.
He's interesting. Matt, are you going to be loading up on Ethereum or getting any crypto in the wake of this?
No, I missed the crypto phase, so I'm too late.
Never too late. It's not too
Never
late.
too late. But for me, I like Ethereum, but historically their promises have been like probably 100x where the reality of the technology is. So very good marketers. And in terms of adoption of Ethereum so far, it's almost primarily speculators, our show is pretty much built for speculators. So I get that customer base, but World's Computer, it is a long way off from that. So I'm in wait and see mode myself.
Yeah,
oh, you guys.
It's real close. There's some neat scaling solutions out there like XDAI. I would have you people that are watching just go take a look at it. Get some Ethereum in your back pocket. It can't hurt. So anyway, guys, you have a good show, and I'll see you on the other side of it.
Thanks, Tone.
Thank you.
That was a pretty decent explanation of what's happening. I'm giving that high marks. I'm giving Tony's statements, high marks. No, this is not investment advice, of course, but there are some interesting opportunities all over Ethereum. The DeFi part on Uniswap, and then the tokens pairs that you can stake. Right. Okay.
What's lazy Bitcoin, Mike?
Pull it up, Tony, because as you guys can see, what is it? What's the price? I got my monitors all messed up.
14,000 even right now.
14 flat. So it's been toying with it. It was down 13.3, then popped to 13.7, and up to 14. And so all these companies have to make some lazy, clickbaity titled article for coin moved up by this much, and it's really not even that big of a move. It's like, what are we, a percent or two or something? And like everybody wants to write this article, and like unfortunately CoinDesk and to some extent Cointelegraph, they're becoming like that Forbes where the brand is destroyed. I don't know, Brett, have you kind of noticed that like everybody
Cointelegraph's always been sort of clickbaity, pay to play stuff, and obviously the Bitcoin price gets clicks. I'll say this: whoever hit the Trump Bitcoin 2016 parlay ran it up pretty nicely. That was a good trade. So
I mean, but it's just bullshit. It's like, well, here's a resistance.
But I don't pay this any mind.
Broke through and the Bollinger Bands and the 200-day moving average. There's a story. You could almost have GPT-3 write all these stories.
Yeah, so I mean,
ridiculous.
This doesn't bother me because I just pay it absolutely no mind. It's
you guys know what fractals are?
Can we do that?
Talking about fractals, basically, it's from reading the headline. Basically, taking a picture. Think of it as taking a facial recognition picture of a graph and putting it and matching it up to an older graph and saying that the stock's going to continue to do that, or the coin is going to continue.
I'll say this though.
Graph.
I'll predict we hit a new all-time high if Biden is president and passes a historic stimulus. I'll predict Bitcoin to the
that noise means it's the end of Bitcoin.
All right.
Now coins again.
Contested election.
Wait, Brett, you think there's going to be a contested election?
I'm asking what happens. We already talked about it on the show. I was just saying I think there's some chance. Obviously, Trump is already talking. He's trying to fundraise on taking this to the courts. He's challenging in Wisconsin. We're still waiting on results in Pennsylvania. I think no matter who loses in Pennsylvania, there's going to be some sort of challenge there. And it appears the election law in Pennsylvania is extremely convoluted. We still have Arizona, Georgia, Michigan. There's some states that are still out. Obviously, extremely likely to go Biden's way at this point. And I don't think Trump is going to have the support. I think people are going to be weary. And I think that they're just going to say it's going to be way too bad for the country if we do try and take this to the Supreme Court. Matt, you don't even think you agree with me, basically, right? That it's not really very likely.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think everyone we know, all our friends, I think we can all agree that if a ballot is in by election day, any way they do it, whether they drop it off by car, phone booth, mail it in, whatever, we think that vote should count, right? As long as it's in by election day. Like there's no other side to that, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
I don't see any.
I mean, whatever the state law is, I'm not.
No, let's not talk about the
laws
law.
are.
I'm talking about
ethics.
moral.
Ethically, yes. Ethically, yeah. Up until the day, right?
Okay, and there's
Not
probably
after the
some
day.
reasons why, if it gets postmarked and it gets lost in the mail, it gets 2 days later, maybe we can argue whether that
To change the vote to Biden.
But at very least, every single vote that's cast by election day or mailed in by election day should count, right? But Trump's going to be fighting against some of those votes, just so you know. Your guy.
Yeah, Trump's not my guy. Okay, I was wearing my Tulsi Gabbard shirt last night. And as I said, I don't think he's going to have the support I think he's going to try. I don't think he's going to go quietly. And so I don't necessarily think it's going to be bullish for the markets in the short term. I don't think he'll succeed. I don't even think it'll get to the Supreme Court is my prediction, but I think he will try.
I want to just jump in and say, I think Brett was right the last couple of weeks when he was like, well, I don't think models can quite predict Trump. Like, I don't think Trump works in the model. And
Brett
you likened it to some baseball player.
Correct about that.
That is looking like it was dead fucking on.
The silent majority, the shy vote, it looks very
plus 250 in Wisconsin and Michigan. I think when we look at the final numbers is going to be the right side of those states also. But we'll see. Yeah,
you're going to lose the Minnesota monies. But again, this election has taught us that even if you're on the right side of it, then you might still get
Matt taught a good
crushed.
lesson to hedge out, right? Take profit.
That's fair. And then, I mean, I'm more in the REA camp of,
Yeah, you just kept firing and you're steaming your way out.
Right. I mean, it's not going to work out every time, kids. This is not investment advice. It's a good time to list that, even though we do some crazy shit on here with, usually within the bankroll, but it might sound crazy. Don't try this at home. We are professionals. We have safety glasses, and it is now the Market Mania pick of the day. Gonna donk our way into some money, not in the way anybody thought it would be, but Matt Glantz, that newfound fortune that we're already counting, even after we took an L on that live on air. I had taken that L, by the way. I know you had too. What are you firing on for the pick of the day?
Damn it, Ryan Micon, you fucked up again.
We have to roll the video first.
I would have laid 5-1. You're gonna mess that one up, but that's just. I mean, you're hungover. You have an excuse.
Tony, roll that video
from Monday.
Of the day.
I'm going long SPY at 328 today. That's
the video,
SPY is the ETF for the S&P 500. Basically, it's
so long SPY, huh, Matt? How'd that work out?
Okay, the pick of the day on Monday. I think Tony's trying to find the video. Pick of the day on Monday was SPY, buy it at 328. Right now it's 346. The whole idea was the election will get settled. Oh, we have it right there, Tone.
Rip it. Shit, Matt Glantz. What's the pick of the day?
I'm going long SPY at 328 today. That's the SPY is the ETF for the S&P 500. Basically, it's just a bet on the market going crazy once Biden wins tomorrow night. If Biden wins handily and there's no kind of ambiguity and Trump doesn't really cause a shitstorm, then this market's going to fly on Wednesday.
There you go.
Trump is causing a shitstorm, but the market's flying anyway.
I mean, Biden's a 5-1 favorite, so I guess it's pretty. Most people figure it's a done deal. But anyway,
Trump shitstorm failing is priced in.
S&P 500 or S&P 500 ETF went from 328 on Monday to 346 today. That's an enormous move for the SPY. So we're crushing on there. Hopefully, we continue with the more picks of the day like that. I mean, I don't remember the last time I ever picked one that quick. So let's move on to today's pick of the day, though. You have a graph of Zoom there, or price of Zoom. All right, my pick of the day today is to actually short Zoom. You know, I don't like shorting too often, but Zoom's at 474. It's come back in. It was over the 500s last week, but I think that even though I think the market's going to trend higher over the next week, I think they're going to start going into more traditional stocks and out of these crazy high value, 100 times sales kind of stocks like Peloton and Zoom. So Zoom is my pick to go short right now, 474. What do you got, Brett?
So I'm also going short here. I think that there's a bit too much uncertainty around the election for me to really believe in this rally in the very near term. So I like shorting the QQQ, as we covered on the show the other day, playing like on the same day trade on SQQQ. You can get 3x leverage shorting QQQ. Biden also, I don't particularly think is going to be very great for tech stocks. So I like the QQQ short, again, just like a short-term play through the week as we sort of see how the near-term chaos plays out.
All right. And I'm going to go with Upwork. I didn't even know this was public until today. I was looking at upcoming earnings. And I have used Upwork before. It's usually not really the best developers, but it's a massive pile of them. And anybody on India is on there. They're willing to do your web work for free. And look at a little 2.5 billion cap or so. And I don't know. I just thinking, wow, I didn't even know they were public. And that's one of those little Fivers and one of those ones that could just be a $10 billion unicorn real quick. You get a little 4X on that little fella. And I think they have a good product. And haven't dug under the hood more than that. But for the pick of the day, you're all hungover. That's going to do it for you. That's what you get around here. That's what you get. That's how you debate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think that even right now, I guess we didn't get any resolution. The world is pretty uptight. I mean, you guys saw, what's going on. There's a 5-1 favorite for the presidency, but it isn't, really done yet. Everyone's going to be fighting on the internet today. And in the words of Street Sweeper Social Club, I believe it's Boots Riley, said, "The city is a planet of glass and granite and ran by some masters of math mechanics." No better fitting than today. Like and subscribe on our YouTube and follow us on Market Mania Show on the Twitter. And we'll see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it is lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine.
Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold or a domino, out of control. The usual. Getting mad cause I'm looking at your girl.
Switch it up.
I do it so much louder than everything